Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is Thursday, February the 13th, 2025. So, of course, we're going to give people a chance to come in here before we get started. So, a friendly reminder, of course, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that being said, let's see. As I said, we're just waiting for more people to come in here. All right, so let's see now. So yeah, just past. Yeah, I saw a pretty funny thing earlier when I was watching some cartoons earlier. I was watching a silly symphony from back in 1934. A funny little bunny is what it was called, an Easter themed cartoon. And one of the things was apparently one of the little Easter bunnies was decided to use his rear end to help decorate eggs. So he put his behind in some red paint and then proceeded to start putting what looked like a heart shape on on a bunch of Easter eggs. So just going to show you guys, bunnies have heart-shaped rear ends, huh? Something that kind of something a little bit humorous there to kind of. All right, so now we are getting close to 3 minute mark. So again, another friendly reminder: if anything we talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions best of my ability. With that being said, of course. We're now coming up on 3 minutes here. So here's what's on tap for tonight. Of course, as we do when they're available, every Thursday we will usually go over the Indie Comic Showcase article from Bleeding Fool from Chris Braley. So we'll be doing that tonight. Of course, after that we'll be getting caught up on all the latest in in professional wrestling. Looking back to last night's AEW results, again to tonight's TNA and Ring of Honor stuff, and of course looking ahead also see if there's any more matches signed for this weekend, Vengeance Day or Vengeance Day premium live event from WWE, or of course Grand Slam coming from Brisbane, Australia, from AEW. Let me see now. All right, so and then of course we'll finish things off with this day in each history. So I guess we can start a little early here. Let's go ahead and go grab the article that we're gonna look over tonight. All right, so Indie Comic Showcase number 295, Raquel, Vicious Vixens, and 1,000 Years of War. Now, Vicious Vixens, I think, is a series they've been following for a while, because I think we covered that on here before, too. Article by Chris Braley, published yesterday, the 12th. So, let's get into this. Let's see now. All right, so welcome back to another installment of Indie Comic Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just completely self-publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle. And of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. Or, of course, you can come here and we will highlight them as well here on on the Mikestand. Go over the article. Let's see now. On Indie Comic Showcase, we interview the creator, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about and enjoy, hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comic Showcase. Let's jump in. All right, so all right. Let's get into this first one. Rake Hill, Quint's Curse 3 by Doran Corkum. I think we might have followed this one up before too. So let me go. Let's see which. Okay, so this is a starter campaign. This is a Kickstarter campaign, so we will. So I'm going to put the information up for you guys to go check out for yourself. All right. All right, so there's the link right there. If you guys want to go check that out for yourselves. All right. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and Raquel, Quint's Curse 3 by Doran Corkum. So let's get into this interview here. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Doran. What's your elevator pitch for Raquel, Quint's Curse? Doran Corkum. Raquel, Quint's Curse, in parentheses there, is a supernatural comic series where the remnants of a secret Templar order battle dark forces in the cursed hamlet of Raquel. The series follows "quote unquote" Keeper as he navigates eerie realms, faces characters that push the boundaries of the horror genre. With this issue, the story reaches the 88-page mark, and the comic itself spans 32 pages. Let's see. The comic is for young adults plus and horror and dark fantasy fans, and is a full color comic with multiple variants, including a metal "quote unquote" collector's edition that I can sign. Chris, what did the origin story, or I guess Okay, I think there was a typo there. I think he meant to say, what is the origin story for making your own comics? All right. Quote, I have been crafting and creating my comic universes for 30 years, and am now trying to shine a light on my stories and characters. As a teenager, I started this journey of combining my art and stories, landing on the comic medium. Um, then, when the world opened up in the early 2000s, I started hunting the globe for another artist to join my venture, forming Whitefire Comics. Very interesting. Here's some of the artwork here. Let me check. All right. Here's some of the. All right, Chris. What can you tell me about your style and creative approach? Doran, I have a very collaborative process where I provide the story and thumbnails of pages to the artist, telling them the thumbnails are just guides. Um, then, once I see their art, I may change the story to fit the art, as the artist has done something cool. Um, I never thought of or request edits to bring things back in line. I dedicated my life and career to creative things and leveraged that into my creative processes. Becoming a graphic and web designer while advancing my art, but I also come from a creative family. Here are some of the cover art, some of the issue art here. Chris, who are the creatives on this particular issue? Doran. For this issue, I worked with a super creative team. The core is AJ Quizo, um, who has worked on all three issues. He is a comic fan from the Philippines and a tattoo artist who did the pencils and inks on the issue on this issue and two covers. The colorist is CF Loom from Malaysia, and together this art is super hit. Erwin J. Arosa also did a cover, as well as Audrey Lunatic pencils, Quepler Perchiner inks, and the indie god David Ocampo colors. I call him a god as he worked for most big companies and indies and saved my bacon a few times. Good to have somebody with that kind of resume in your group, right? While you play your comment. Hmm. All right, let's see. Continue on here. Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing through this process? Doran, it's hard. It's hard. You have to stay on top of things, be ready for things to get knocked around, and plan, plan, plan. When doing this part time, you must be prepared to dance around a lot with various partners. Let's see. Chris, what's your production workflow like? Doran, typical. Other than my skill set, which allows me to fix art issues and page layout problems at the end with a little back and forth with the creative team. Comic is well on course as the covers and page inks are done. The comic is over half colored and everything will be almost done by the end of the Kickstarter. There's an interesting demon it would appear. Chris, any special features in this crowdfunding campaign you'd like to mention? Doran, I have early backer rewards and lots of add-ons, including shirts, other comics from Whitefire Comics, and more. Also, the Raquel series has hidden runes throughout that can be decoded with the Templar Dakota card. Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Doran, a comic is nothing without a reader. Please give us a peek. We would love your support. I have tons of stories to work on. You visit whitefirecomics.com. You can learn more about Raquel, the Forsaken Future, the Untold Stories, and get a glimpse at other ideas. And Chris, thanks for the interview, Doran. There we go. So now we'll get into this next portion of the article here. Let's see, 1,000 Years of War. Let me see here. By Hannah Rose Williams. Let me go grab that link. And this one looks like it's going to be Fund My Comic Project. The Years of War. Hey, Natsumi, I see you there. Thanks for dropping in. As always, if you haven't already, if you can like and share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. All right, so here's the link to that comic. If you want to go check that out. I forgot I had these bad boys. No, you're not done, or no, you don't need to? No, I don't. Well, let me put that up one more time to put it on up for a little while, a little bit longer there. All right, so let's get into the article then. 1,000 Years of War by Hannah Rose Williams. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comics Showcase. Hannah, what's the pitch for your new comic, 1,000 Years of War? Hannah Rose Williams. This is a Joan of Arc story in a Mad Max setting. Instead of fighting the English, she's fighting mutants, zombies, and uh, Theosophist. Um, Reviewers have called this story, quote, more Fallout than the Fallout TV show, unquote. Chris, where did the idea for this comic come from? Hannah, there's just no option for me other than self-publishing because the gatekeepers of big publishing companies want their revised and reformed Joan of Arc, a non-binary or trans feminist icon. The idea behind this graphic novel was to take Joan of Arc back from the people who claim to love her but don't really know her. Not only was she an amazing military leader, she was also a very kind and gentle person, as well as a devout Christian. Here's some of the artwork here. That looks like a nasty scar that one guy's got over his eye there. Oh, he took a sword slash. There's some interference in the audio. Unaware if it's your mic or the stream. I wouldn't be surprised. We've been having some connection issues the last couple of days here. Let me. Testing 1, 2, 3. I just checked it. It sounds clear to me. But anyways, thanks for letting me know at least. Netsuri. Although my sister says that we're probably getting some of the issues are due to the fact that it's raining here right now, Southern California, so that might be causing some issues too. So, but anyways, hopefully now I'm sounding better. Things are sounding better now. Anyways, back to the article here. Chris, what kind of comic readers is this suited for, and who is it aimed at? Hannah, older teens can probably handle the story, but as it touches on the sexual revolution and child abuse issues, I'm only marketing this graphic novel to adults. So probably some more serious. Almost sounds like a maybe a rated R, maybe a rated R to MA rating, I guess. So anyway. Anyways, back to the article here. What can you tell me about the development of your creative style? Chris asks. And Hannah responds, I spent months scripting the story in an autistic figure. As the characters became more fleshed out, I then went back to the beginning and rehashed it a bit before dividing the script into pages and panels. When it comes to the discipline of art, I have always been the sort of person to just try something and see how it goes. I didn't have the luxury of using traditional art for this one. Just an old copy of Coral Painter, and a $20 digital tablet. Let's see. Kristen asked, "From where did you draw your inspiration for this comic?" Hannah, I bounced ideas off a lot of friends and helpful in-laws, but the most helpful person in this project was Mark Twain. His novel about Joan of Arc is surprisingly historically accurate. He spent many years researching and even reading her trial transcripts. In the original French, one of my characters, Louis, is based on Mark Twain's self insert narrator, Louis, or Louis. Um, some more of the art right there. All right. So everything I'm hoping is still right there. So, anyways, Chris, what have you been learning from crowdfunding and creating through this process? Hannah, the biggest piece of advice I have from my experiences is that you should definitely choose Fund My Comic over Kickstarter. Fund My Comic is run by people who really care about helping your project succeed. Kickstarter takes a lot more of your money and asks you a lot of political questions. Chris, are there more stories you hope to tell? Hannah, I am currently working on a loosely connected story taking place in the same universe. This one is about vampires. Hmm. See, better to lose your them with Adam Splitter, than live like a mutant. Hmm. Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Hannah, everyone has been so supportive. It's great that people were excited about this project as I was, and I'm so thankful. Uh, Chris, we wish you great success. All right, so the final portion of the article here is in regards to something that we've looked at before: the vicious victims of Dakuwanga. Um, The Vicious Victims of Dakuwanga 1 through 3 um, by Ben Lacey. And we've covered his works before. I think this is more the collected editions, and this is another Kickstarter campaign, of course. So there's the link right there. If you guys want to go check that out, leave it up for a moment. All right. So now, And Ray, now let's go ahead and get into this. And we've, of course, have seen a lot of Ben Lacey's work lately being showcased on here. So, Chris Braley, welcome back to Indie Comic Showcase, Ben. Give our readers a quick synopsis of the vicious victims of Dakuwanga. Ben Lacey. 8 women, each with a unique skill set, lost at sea and on the run from the mob. What does the mob want with them? At last we find out in the latest issue of the vicious victims of Gwanga. Chris, is this related to your Shark of War comic series? Ben, yes. This is a spin-off of issue number 1 of my other comic book, Shark of War. In parentheses, all backers get a free digital copy of Shark of War. In it, the Shark of War rescues a boatload of women from human traffickers. But he's a shark. All he actually does is kill their captors and leave them in the middle of the ocean to fend for themselves. Afterwards, I began to wonder what happened to those women, and this story evolved from there. Here's some nice action going on here. Some nice martial arts action going on here with the way these women are fighting. Now look at the Who is this comic aimed at? Chris asks, and then Ben replies, should be appropriate for teenagers on up. It is an action adventure story with a decent amount of blood and violence. There's also a bit of sci-fi in the background. And of course, anyone who likes beautiful and beautifully drawn women will enjoy Vicious Victims. And look like we're getting a little fan service here for the male gaze, as it were. Chris, talk about your creative team that contributed to this project. Ben, Nico Toran is the artist. He also went to school to be an engineer, but then he went into art full time after graduating. He's been training in martial arts and likes to bring that into drawing his action scenes, which I could tell right there, with that one panel. Nikki Powers is the letterer. She letters all my books and does lettering for a number of indie comics. Shark cover artist David Bath Gallart is an illustrator with 16 years of experience working in advertising, video games, and comic books. Our 2 cosplay cover models are Nat Pafat, Pookie H, a Thai model who is cosplaying as Fiji and Maisel V, and as Fiji, and Maisel V, a Venezuelan model who is cosplaying as Knives. Chris, what's your production workflow like? Ben, I am a meticulous plotter who tries to make the fantastic look logical and plausible. I think it's from my background as an engineer, I always try to ground my plots in some sense of reality. I write the script, turn it over to Nico. He comes back with thumbnails, and I suggest changes. He then does more detailed art, and I make any final requests for changes. Once the penciling is done, he then inks and colors it. Finally, Nikki letters the book, and I format it into a final comic book. Chris, what are you learning from self-publishing and crowdfunding that you can share with our readers? Ben, going in, I thought I just needed a very entertaining comic book, but I've learned that it's a lot about promotion. Getting yourself out there and building your fan base. There are so many things screaming for people's attention. That no matter how good your book, you have to really get out there and tell people about it. And slowly you can get people to take a look and realize that the story you're telling is worth their time and money. Let's see. And again, a friendly reminder to everybody, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. With that, as we continue on with the article here. Chris, are there more stories to tell with these characters? Ben, yes, this book will continue as there's a lot more story. The women are about to set off on a dangerous adventure, and I hope readers will want to see how it goes. Shark of War is also continuing in the same universe, and readers can get both books as part of this Kickstarter. Let's see. And Chris asked, any special features about this project you want to spotlight? Ben, I'm continuing the series of having cover models cosplay as different vixens. Issue 2 featured women cosplaying as Blondie and Big Sis. This issue, we have Venezuelan model Maisel V, or Marcel V, cosplaying as Knives, and Thai model Natpa Fat, in parentheses, Pookie H, cosplaying as Fiji. Both women also contributed videos of their cosplay, so I encourage your readers to watch the promo video to see more of them. All backers will get at least one physical or digital bonus print. I'm also offering digital copies of all my books as a reward tier for less than $2 a book. In parentheses, beat that, Marvel. And higher reward tiers include digital copies of all my books as a free bonus. There's something to grab your attention. Chris, anything else you would like to share with our readers before we sign off? Ben, yes. There is a link on the Kickstarter campaign age, where potential backers can read issue 1 of the Vicious Vixens of Dakuwanga for free. In parentheses, no signups or anything. Just click on the link and the book opens up. Chris, that's great. Good luck, Ben. So that's it for this installment. You're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here. So we can hopefully help you get more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Till next time, support indie comics. All right, so there we go with that one. Now, let's see. Let's just kind of recap, of course, the link here. If you guys want to go check that, we had Raquel, Quint's Curse 3. There's the link to that one if you guys want to go check that out. 1,000 Years of War. There's that one. And last but definitely not least, the Vicious Vixens of Dakuwanga 1 through 3. All right. I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. What I will do is I'll put the music on. Y'all come here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. So we just, as I said, I'll look because I look. All right. So I'll go through these one more time for anybody who just came in. And again, a friendly reminder: if you haven't already, you can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So let's just see. And there we go. All right. So with that now all being said, of course, let's move on to the wrestling wrap-up as, in, of course, WWE news. As we've seen, like Ricky Stark recently make an appearance. He made his surprise debut on NXT last night, or on Tuesday. Yeah, actually today's Thursday, on Tuesday night. So and also people have been wondering why we haven't seen Jordan Grace, who also recently signed with the WWE from TNA, on much lately. It's believed they're just waiting for a story to develop before bringing her on TV. Of course she made her WWE debut at the Women's Royal Rumble last Sunday. So there is some talk she might make an appearance at this Saturday's PLE Vengeance Day. PLE. Let's see. That's all basically WWE news right now. Is they didn't have much going on. So now we're going to move ahead to or we're going to look back to last night to and talk about what happened on last night Dynamite. Last night's Dynamite, which came from the HEB Center at Cedar Park in Cedar Park, Texas, with of course Excalibur, Nigel McGuinness, and Tony Schiavone. This, of course, is the go-home Dynamite before this Saturday's Grand Slam from Brisbane, Australia. Adam Page defeated Max Caster in a singles match. In a match for the AEW World Trios titles, the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta retained over the Undisputed Kingdom of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. In another six-man tag match, Hook, Samoa Joe, and Katsuyori Shibata defeated the team of John Cruz, Rosario Grillo, and Aaron Solo. MJF defeated Dustin Rhodes via referee's decision. Megan Bayne dominated Maya Wood in just under 2 minutes. Chris Statlander defeated Penelope Ford. And the Hurt Syndicate retained the AEW World Tag Team titles over the Guns, over the returning Austin and Colton Gunn. So that's all that happened on last night's Dynamite. Now let's look ahead to tonight's Impact and Ring of Honor. So on tonight's Impact, Impact on Access TV, coming from the Boeing Center at Tech Point, San Antonio, Texas. Ash and Heather by Elegance will be taking on the King Bees, former NWA World Tag Team Champions Danny B and Charity King. Zaya Brookside will be taking on the NXT's Cora Jade. Frankie Kazarian takes on Sami Callihan in a battle of a former X Division champion versus a former world champion. What is believed to be his last match, his last match in TNA, Josh Alexander will be taking on Eric Young. Masha Slamovich defends the TNA Knockouts World title against Savannah Evans, and then Joe Hendry defends the TNA World title over Jake Something. Now, also, there was some news that came out today as well about some major change-ups happening in TNA. As, of course, the former TNA CEO, the guy who replaced Scott D'Amore, he has been released. He has been let go, and they have a new executive. Christy Hemme and Josh Mountains have also departed TNA. There's a lot of talk that there's some major shakeup going on as a new executive producer's coming in and looking to bring more of his people in. So that's why you're seeing some of these changes happening. But well, of course, tomorrow night we'll talk about what to look forward to this weekend on some of this stuff. So now let's take a look at what's going to happen on tonight's Ring of Honor show as well. On tonight's Ring of Honor show, they'll be showcasing portions of Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rage at Sea. They did the cruise ship where they have matches from they have matches on there. Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni doing the commentary. Konosuke Takeshi in an eliminator match for a possible contendership for the international title. Konosuke Takeshita will be taking on Tommy Billington. Tommy Billington, the nephew of the Dynamite Kid. If he can defeat Konosuke Takeshita, he'll have earned a shot at the AEW International title. Jay Lethal takes on one half of the M&M collection, Mason Madden. Ricochet takes on Serpentico. The Grizzled Young Veterans will be taking on the Outrunners in a tag team match. Billy Starks will be taking on Harley Cameron. And in a match for the Ring of Honor World Television title, Commander defends against Nick Wayne. So that's all happening on tonight's. This was all taped back on the last day of last month. So all right. So with that, now let's go ahead and move on to this day in each history. As of course, today is Thursday, February 13th, 2025. So let's take a look back at this day in each history. So all right. So first I'm going to head back 30 years ago today. And on this date, 30 years ago today, Chuck Jones receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Chuck Jones, a longtime Golden Age animator, worked for both Warner Brothers and MGM throughout his career. Directed a number of cartoons, including Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, among others. So on this date, 30 years ago today, Chuck Jones receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, moving ahead to the year 2002. On this date in 2002, the 415th issue of Mad magazine from EC went on sale on this date back in 2002. So 23 years ago today, the 415th issue of Mad magazine from EC Comics went on sale on this date back in 2002. Of course, the book had been running, since 1952. So now moving on to the next piece of niche history here. And on this date in 2005, TNA held its Against All Odds pay-per-view on this day back in 2005 from the TNA Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. Let's see. The main event saw Jeff. We'll actually go from. So the show opened up with Elix Skipper defeating Petey Williams to become the number one contendership. To become the number one contender to the TNA X Division title. Let's see. America's Most Wanted retained the NWA World Tag Team titles over Kid Cash and Lance Hoyt. In a Full Metal Mayhem match to determine the number one contender to the NWA World Heavyweight title, Abyss defeated Jeff Hardy. In a match, in a 30-minute Iron Man match for the TNA X Division title, AJ Styles retained, defeating Christopher Daniels. Two falls to one in sudden death at 31:42, and then the main event saw Jeff Jarrett retain the NWA World Heavyweight title over Kevin Nash. So that happened 20 years ago today from TNA's Against All Odds pay-per-view. And finally, on this date 10 years ago today, in 2015 here, For All's original net animation comical psychosomatic medicine premiered online on this date 10 years ago today. Let's see. They released 20 episodes between February 13th and June 26th, 2015. So on this date, 10 years ago today, For All's original net animation comical psychosomatic medicine premiered online on this date 10 years ago today. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Of course, we'll be back here tomorrow night, more Niche News. Also, this Sunday, we'll be doing, of course, the historical comic retrospect. We'll be taking a look back at comics that went on sale in April 1940. This Sunday, we'll be looking at comics that went on sale from Standard. We'll be looking at Thrilling Comics, Volume 1, Issue 5. My co-host will be, of course, Rick Piper from Cross Comics. Let's see. So, of course, tomorrow night we'll have, on the Wrestling Wrap-Up, we'll talk about, the upcoming weekend's Vengeance Day and Grand Slam events from WWE and AEW, respectively. We'll get you all caught up on all the latest in the world of niche, from anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. Before the weekend comes in. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you hadn't already, you guys can like and share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, as always. And remember, I do keep my videos up here so people can, watch them. If they miss it live, they can go back and watch it, and get the information. And let me do this one last time here before we sign off here. Let's take a look at these campaigns that we focused on tonight. So you can go over to Kickstarter to check out the Raquel Quint's Curse #3 project comic. If you guys want to go check that out. And then the next one is 1,000 Years of War from, of course, Hannah Rose Williams on Fund My Comic. Kind of interesting how she was really pointing out the political bias of Kickstarter. She wanted to do an actual real historical portrayal of Joan of Arc, rather than giving into the kind of the DEI stuff there. So Very cool. And then last but not least, Ben Lacey's The Vicious Victims of Dakuwanga 1 through 3. Of course, we've seen his work before as well. You know, going through a whole bunch of stuff there. So, and again, the last couple of indie comic showcases have really highlighted women either as art, as creators, or as as comics. So that's kind of a nice thing to see. We definitely did get some interesting fan service in the Vicious Vixens series. So, all right. So, with that being said, I guess I will get ready, and we'll be back here tomorrow night with more niche news. So, with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.